Hey y'all, happy Friday. Happy Friday, happy Friday. Come on in. Hey everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on and find a seat. Thank you for the crown. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to talk about this thread over on Twitter. Now, I did a little video about it and told everybody that if you follow me over on Twitter, Tabitha Speaks, you'll see that I retweeted this thread to make it easy for you to find because it's not easy to find. But this thread that is over on Twitter exposes Elon Musk for fraud. I mean, come on. It's not shocking, but not shocking at all. But to have all of the, you thought, well, I believe he's purposely trying to shut down Twitter. I believe all of the missteps weren't really missteps. I believe he has an ulterior motive. But there's this Twitter thread. And the Twitter thread, like I said, exposes him to be a grifting fraud. He is not a genius. He's not a genius. He's not a genius in the least bit. Hold on. I think I saw. Good morning, everybody. I think I saw a Ku Klux Klan member in the chat. I can't find it now, but you know they can't keep their mouths closed, so I'm sure they will say something else. But somebody got him. One of my peoples got him. Thank you. Thank you. I think it was Big Bird. Big Bird be on it. But listen, I mean, like I said, it's not shocking, but to have it all put out there in your face to confirm that this man is no genius. He is a grifter. He's made all of his billions off of grifting. He is not who he say he is. Somebody else agrees that he has a plan as to why he took over Twitter. Yeah, I believe there was a purpose behind it. Twitter is one of the biggest social media platforms where we all share and receive information. All of us. And under the guise of free speech, they don't like the fact that Democrats have been able to put their message out and have it received. They don't want that. They don't like the fact that people can jump onto Twitter. Hey, really, B? They don't like it that people can jump onto Twitter and find pebbles to the truth, which exposes them. We're going to go through this Twitter thread. It's a little long, but I got time this morning.
Yeah.
I hope you got time. I've got time. And there's several different threads underneath this person, this account who put out this information about Elon Musk, baby. Hey, everybody coming in. Hey, everybody. The only reason it's received is because you're not blocked like Republicans. So Republicans are blocked. Let's start this thread, okay? Elon for president. He can't be president. He is not a natural born citizen. Y'all, they have made it into the chat. The ignorant trolls that are put out there by the Republican Party. Neither was Obama. Obama produced a birth certificate. Hold on, y'all. Let me get me a bottled water. And we'll begin. Shout out to Big Bird, my moderator. He's down in the chat. He'll get them together. You have my permission to block them. You don't have to mute them. If you have the capability of blocking them, block them. Hey, Aisha. Good morning. I'm going to make you a moderator. You see the foolishness? Block them. No need to mute them. You was waiting on me? Here I am. I had to have a few things to say to Madison this morning. And yeah, let's talk about Elon Musk. So this is what the thread looks like. But like I said, if you go over to my Twitter account, Tabitha Speaks, you'll see it. Because it's hard to search it out. So the first tweet says someone has to... Hold on, y'all. The first tweet says someone has to say it. Elon Musk has lied for 27 years about his credentials. He does not have a BS in physics or any technical field, did not get into a PhD program, dropped out in 1995, and was illegal. Later, investors quietly arranged a diploma, but not in science. So, you know, that's Elon's claim to fame, a claim to his genius. He has bachelor's in physics, and he's got it from Stanford University. No, we'll get to it. I forget. We'll get to it. But here it provides receipts. This is why it's important for you to go directly to the thread. You can see all of the receipts that they provide. And here is the so-called degree that Elon Musk supposedly had gotten. But it's a fraud. Allegedly, it's a fraud. The next tweet in the thread says, this thread will be long. Finding the key contradictions took just a few hours back in May, but it's important to be complete. So I'll go through it all and why it's dangerous for the United States. And then it asks for us to retweet. But I want you to see right here in this tweet, he provides a link. Whoever did this, they provide a link. That link takes you to a Google Docs drive where all of the receipts are available for you to peruse through, download, and you can put your own story together. He's got several files in regards to this story, and you could get to them with this link right here. Okay, it goes on to say, catching Elon Musk in a lie isn't hard. In 2013, I had to say, stay in school. Otherwise, I'd get kicked out of the country. This is correct. Then since I already had my undergrad, I could get an H-1B visa. That's a lie. In 1995, he had no degree, so no visa. He was illegal. And so here they provide a video in this tweet. Let's listen to it. Let me turn the volume up.
I probably would have stopped education sooner. So it really depends on what somebody's goal is. If the goal is to start a company, I would say no point in finishing college. In my case, I had to, otherwise I'd get kicked out of the country.
Yeah.
So that was important. But
although you went on and you got a master's degree as well, right?
I came out of Silicon Valley to do a PhD at Stanford in applied physics and material science to work on ultracapacitors for use in electric cars. And that's what I was going to do. And then I decided to put that on hold to start a company. But since I already had my undergrad, I could then get an H-1B visa and that kind of thing. So the H-1B visa requires a degree. But other than that, I would have, if that wasn't the case, I probably would have stopped education sooner. So it really depends on what somebody's goal is.
He says that he got his he got his undergrad, so he was able to get the HB1 visa. He got neither, according to this thread. The next tweet says, to be clear, no one cares about the degree. The immigration violation is history. What matters is Elon's big lie, pretending to be what he isn't. The academic stolen valor subverts judgment, but he's a genius. And it opens him up to influence, which makes him a security risk. Stop sending requests to come up. I'm not. If I don't know you, you don't come up. It goes on to say Elon's key influences are the PayPal mafia. I had never heard that term before until I came across this thread. I didn't know there was such a thing happening out there. The PayPal mafia capos, Peter Thiel and David Sachs. I guess they are considered the PayPal mafia. They urged him to buy Twitter, advised him on running it, both with childhoods in apartheid South Africa, angry culture wars at Stanford, now working on Thiel's political project to upend democracy. And so they provide this receipt showing who these two people are. Wait, somebody mentioned something. Okay. He lies because he is deeply insecure, and rightfully so. He ain't ish. Well, it goes on to say, so Elon matters, and people around him are not America's friends. Someone has to call out the secrets. Many people know. Elon's been sued over the fake degree. But even as Twitter tanks, no one has the guts to talk about it. Silicon Valley's the last place to lecture us on free speech. And then it posts more receipts. More receipts. And this is stuff that this person has just been able to pull together. More receipts to back up the claims of that particular tweet. And then the next tweet, it goes on to tell Twitter, listen, this does not violate the rules or anything like that because Elon Musk is a public figure. And then it also goes on to talk about the Streisand effect. Suspending this account would make the story go bigger. He threatens, I would go public. It would be news. And then he posts this picture of a tweet that Elon sent out that says, as Twitter pursues the goals of elevating citizen journalism, media elite will try everything to stop that from happening. Ciao. And so it goes on to talk about, it provides a quick outline right here. And it says review from college, and it tells you what's on basically the Google Drive. So review from college, no visa, no physics degree, no PhD acceptance, quitting Twitter's board, why it matters, and it highlights national security, things to do, and thoughts. So all of this that he put in this thread, you can find by clicking this link. Part A, review. Elon Musk moved from South Africa to Canada in 1989, did odd jobs for a year, then enrolled at Queen's University, where he wore logos from the business program. QC equals Queen's Commerce. After 2 years, he transferred to Penn. At this point, he'd be on an F1 visa. And it shows a picture of Elon from this university that's out in Canada. But he's transferred over to Penn. His bio describes Elon's college years at Queen's. Went to the least number of classes possible. At Penn, video game binges that went on for days. He lived in a party house with glow-in-the-dark decor, 500-person ragers, but it's difficult to find students who remember him. So he's claiming this all-out career down at Penn State. I guess this is Penn State University, right? But they've talked to several former students who would have gone to Penn when Elon claimed to be there, but nobody remembers him. They provide receipts of his, I guess, interview where he talks about his years at Penn. After 3 years at Penn, Elon left for California with brother Kimball. Tried to catch the internet wave. They rented a Palo Alto office, slept in it when not coding. By November 3rd, 1995, Elon filed to incorporate Global Link Information Network, Inc., a kind of online business. And they provide the documents from the business. That's Elon and his brother. Goes on to say, in the go-go 90s, the internet was new and investors moved fast. In 1996, Davidow Ventures offered $3 million for Elon Musk's business Global Link. On August 15th, just 8 months after its startup, the change was official. Rich Sorkin was named CEO and Elon became secretary. They renamed it Zip2. And here's business documents about the sale between this guy and Elon. Baby. Goes on to say, the visa. More Davidow now had a problem. Elon was undocumented. This is indisputable. If he'd finished a degree, he could have gone on opt. Starting a business counts as practical training, but as a dropout, there's no legal path to stay. And they provide more receipts for you to read up on. Nowadays, a 1-year overstay means you'd be deported, could be barred for 3 years. In the 90s, there might be workarounds. But what were more Davidow options? Elon wouldn't qualify for an EB-1, Genius, that's a Genius visa. 8 months of hairball code doesn't provide extraordinary ability. And so it provides information on immigration statuses and what you could get a visa for. Elon mentions the H-1B specialty occupations visa many times. Those were easier to get in the 90s than now, but still had a hard criterion. You need an undergraduate degree. And Elon didn't have one. He couldn't even apply till he somehow managed to get a diploma. It highlights this specific information in the immigration documents. Elon didn't have the $1 million in non-U.S. money he needed for an EB-5, which is an immigrant investor visa. I thought he was the son of a billionaire, right? Why didn't he have this money? There's a deeper story there. Why couldn't he have this? Why couldn't he get this money from his dad? Right? Okay, but they say Elon didn't have the $1 million in non-U.S. money he needed for an EB-5 immigrant investor visa. Moore Davidoff could have quietly staked him some of the funds, but that's not legal. Of course, hiring an undocumented worker isn't legal either. So dodgy things happened in 1996. By 1997, a path was made. So the legal workarounds they couldn't do because he didn't qualify. Elon didn't qualify. And so they did some suspicious things. Degrees, again, we care about Elon's degrees because he cares a lot. He's made physics part of his identity. He talks about it so much, there's a highlight reel. The 27-year-old lie is his person. A highlight. Okay, so they provide a video.
If you have an advice to the young people globally who want to be like Elon Musk, what's your advice to them?
I think advice, if you want to make progress in things, I think that the best analytical framework for understanding the future is physics. I'd recommend studying the thinking process around physics, like not the equations. The equations certainly they're helpful, but the way of thinking in physics is it's the best.
Stutter means lying in his case.
Counterintuitive, and always taking the position that you are to some degree wrong, and your goal is to be less wrong over time.
I'm Carrie Faye, and I live in Denver, Colorado. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Musk. We do have a lot of questions from 13, 14-year-olds. I'm just going to pick one and ask you. It's from a teenager, and her name is Dara, and she wants to be an engineer and build starships and robots, and her dream is working for SpaceX. What should she focus on to be an engineer?
Well, I think there's all kinds of engineering that's needed. So you don't have to be an aerospace engineer. You could be in electronics, be a mechanical engineer, electrical engineer. You could be a software engineer. There's a lot of engineering. Basically, almost any kind of engineering. We'll need chemical engineering. I think also for
this is a few minutes long. I ain't got the time, but y'all get the point. Let's move on to the next tweet. Why the lie? A physics degree isn't even that useful for Elon's career. Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, founders of Tesla Motors, have what you'd actually want, CS and electrical engineering. But physics does that to some people. It's a kind of worship type thing. And this is the ones, these are the two that I've been hearing he swindled Tesla from. He stole the designs or the information or something like that from these two gentlemen. And that's how he ended up becoming a billionaire of some sort, child. He's a fraud. Moving on. So let's walk through evidence on his degrees carefully. 1. Evidence from lawsuits, subpoenas, and depositions. 2. Elon's coursework. 3. Statements from Penn. 4. False statements to his biographer. So these are the 4 things that they're going to go into in talking about Elon's degrees. 1. The lawsuits. Here's the story of how we have Elon's diplomas. In 1995, Elon interviewed at a startup, then ghosted them, started Global Link instead. The owner sued, alleging Elon swiped his business plan. The case hinged on deception since borrowing ideas is legal. And so they provide the paperwork from that case, him being sued. To get the interview, Elon said he was a Stanford PhD student with degrees in computational physics and finance. The plaintiff called that a fraud and subpoenaed Penn. It seems Elon was indeed given 2 diplomas, but only in 1997, and the second one has no department. So my guess is that they are calling these diplomas frauds. Baby, this is I'm shocked this is still up over on Twitter. Note that pulling strings at Penn's Wharton School is not that big of a scandal. Y'all remember Donald Trump graduated from the Wharton School. Y'all remember that? And remember, he did something. He put something in place to keep journalists from being able to get access to his school records. Okay, let me finish. Note that pulling strings at Penn's Wharton School is not that big a scandal. Credentialing unstudious elites is part of Wharton's game. Trump and Trump Jr. are grads too. I didn't know Trump Jr. was a part of the Wharton School. But Penn physics is small, just a handful of graduates, and holding their reputation requires standards. Hey, muscles. And so, they have some receipts in regards to Trump and Penn. More receipts. So, I'm questioning the Wharton School. At this point, if you've got Trump who claims he graduated from the Wharton School, but for whatever reason, he blocked everybody from being able to get access to his records. And now you got fraud Elon Musk, and they can't make sense of his records from the Wharton School. What's up with the Wharton School? So is the Wharton School a school to push through elites as being some sort of scholar, which adds to their credentials, which adds to their bank accounts, in my opinion? Somebody says diplomas for donations. That's what it sounds like the Wharton School is. University of Cons. I love y'all. Elon had to sit for a deposition as part of the 2007 lawsuit. He was grilled about saying computational physics, which doesn't exist at Penn. When asked about the blank diploma, I guess that's the diploma that doesn't have a department. That's why they're calling it blank. He evaded. He evaded just like he evaded in the last couple of videos that we saw. He never really answered the questions. He hemmed and hawed and stuttered, right? Okay. Which asked about the blank diploma, he evaded. Elon's been talking his way out of situations for a long time. He won the lawsuit. So it provides more receipts from that lawsuit. Again, this Twitter thread, I've shared it on my Twitter page. You can find me on Twitter at Tabitha Speaks, and you all can go through all of this until they delete it. All of this and read all of the receipts and stuff like that for yourself. That's what I was doing a little bit before I came on. In 2009, ousted Tesla Motors founder Martin Eberhard also sued and again attacked Elon's physics degree claim. Eberhard reused material from the earlier suit and added lies found in official SEC filings. This time it seems it was successful since Elon settled out of court. And they provide receipts in regards to that as well. So Eberhard, brought up, let me bring up Muscles. Hey, wait. Don't say nothing. Wait. Let me put my earplugs on so I can hear you. Okay, baby. Hey.
All right. Hey, we haven't done this in forever. We need to start scheduling it.
Huh?
We need to start scheduling it.
Oh, we need to schedule? I hate to schedule because I always, I go into the office on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then Monday and Thursdays and Fridays I work from home. But stuff always happens when I schedule. So I hate to schedule.
I wait till I see you on, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go bugger now.
Okay. Come on, baby. Come on.
wait. So there are so many people who are defending, like the Elon bros, are defending him and completely missing the point. The whole time he was building Starlink, all of that, they had compromise on him.
Yeah.
Like they had leverage over him. And exactly, they had leverage on him. And while he's doing that, and then also he calls Putin, and then he starts advocating for peace in Ukraine and blaming Ukraine. Like that's not.
Wait. He called Putin.
Yes.
Oh wait.
Yes.
Is this recent? This is recent?
Yes. He was going to take down Starlink. If you guys don't remember.
Oh, I remember Starlink.
That was after he got a call from Putin. He was talking to Putin, and now he's destroyed Twitter, which we can honestly say Twitter has been a communication tool globally for people for marginalized communities, peoples without a voice, to be able to get a message out. There are so many movements that started. I mean, the BLM movement, all these other movements have started and were organized by reaching out to people on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So what people are not seeing, you've got all these Elon bros, and I'm like, dude, do you care about national security? Because he's literally putting space stations up in the fucking air, and that man doesn't even know how to not deactivate his own badge, and he was locked out of his own facility.
I heard about that.
It's like this man has never, not once.
Somebody says, do you think this Twitter debacle is on purpose? I think It's on purpose. You think it's on purpose as well?
It absolutely is.
I believe so.
Absolutely. You got to remember, so he didn't have the money. The $44 billion he leveraged through Tesla and Saudi Arabia.
And he got little investments from
P.
Diddy and others. He got little investments. Yep. He didn't have the money outright.
He did not.
He's cash poor. All of his money is in assets.
Uh-huh. What was Elon's goal? So here's the deal. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, we find out now, there was a big post in the Washington Post about how they have been, who we thought were our friends, were quietly affecting our elections, affecting our politics. Mm-hmm. They're buying up farmland for water. Saudi Arabia is doing that. They're buying up farmland. They're buying up this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So then we find out that in Georgia, if you guys don't remember, if you're voting, Georgia, Brian Kemp is selling farmland next to military property with taxpayers' money. If you don't know that, okay?
Yep, so, and I'm in Georgia. Yep.
You do not want Walker as your senator, okay? But what's the end game? What is it? What's his name? Elon Musk buys lithium and buys aluminum from Russia. So for his cars. So if he was going to be cut off if he didn't cut off Starlink. Do you see what I'm saying? So he was going to cut off Starlink, but then Twitter, like he had an opportunity with Twitter, and now he's in Delaware right now being sued, and the lawsuit's going to probably go forward.
Who's suing him in Delaware?
So there is a drummer. There's a drummer who just does drums who owns 6 shares of Tesla.
Okay.
And Elon Musk did not meet the 12. There were 12 points of success that he was supposed to meet to get his $55 billion pay. So he's suing because also this gets into the SEC issues, Security and Exchange, because the board voted in favor of Elania and not the actual stockholders. So there's a conflict of interest that he has, and nobody it's a big hot mess in that lawsuit. And so when
somebody says it's a $68 billion lawsuit.
Oh yeah, it is. He doesn't. People think that he's rich. Like he's gonna lose 44 billion out of Twitter. He's gonna lose billions out of Tesla. He's losing billions. He has 7 class action lawsuits against him for the people with people who have disabilities. He violated the American Disabilities Act by forcing people to come back into the office when they've been working remote and were hired as a remote worker. Okay, so it wasn't that they came in and left. They've always been a remote worker because of that disability.
See, I didn't know that piece.
Of the American Disabilities Act. So he's got a class action lawsuit coming against him. He's got class action lawsuits because in California you've got labor laws that he violated.
Yeah, that part, yeah.
And the people that he locked in a garage last night. It's not funny, but it's funny.
Wait. I knew there was a lot going on last night. I don't know all that was going on last night. I knew he ended up locking himself out some kind of way. And I know some of the workers were like, pay us now, we're leaving now, give us our severance now. And so you're saying he locked people in?
So he sent out an email saying, you have to, if you don't agree with how I'm going to structure this, then I'm going to give you 3 months severance pay and you're terminated immediately.
Right.
Well, literally the entire core infrastructure engineering team.
Right.
So
right.
He deactivated everybody's badges. He deactivated everybody's badges while they were still in the building. They were in the parking garage, and
so that's how they were locked in.
Yeah, you need your badge to open up the arm.
Yeah,
go up and down.
Yeah,
so that's unlocked. They were there for like 3 hours. They couldn't get out because the guy who controls them, the guy who has the badge, like the technology, like the know-how to reactivate badges.
Yes,
he fired earlier that day, and he had to beg him to come back in. I would have been like, new phone, who dis? You know, like new phone, who dis? You stuck with that lawsuit, baby. Oh. Call a lawyer. Somebody.
How did they get out? How did they get out? Did the guy come?
So the guy eventually came out.
So he just went out and didn't demand a certain type of pay. Have my check. I want my check when I get there.
Millions. I would have demanded millions. And then so here's the tease, because I gotta get out.
Okay.
Do you remember when Rand Paul was called a Russian asset by John McCain on the second floor? Okay. So there was a guy who Donald Trump pardoned for campaign finance fraud. Okay.
What's his name?
2020. Bretson or something like that. I forgot his name.
Okay.
So he was pardoned. 6 months later, he was indicted on 6 counts of illegal campaign donations from Russia. Yesterday, while we weren't paying attention, his sentencing, he was found guilty on all 6 charges for funneling money directly from Russia to Donald Trump. Directly to him. Do you know?
So okay, I know you gotta go, but how did Russia get the money to him?
He was working for Russia. So he was working for
So
Russia.
he was the middleman.
He was the middleman.
Okay.
Do you know who he was working under though?
Rand Paul.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Wait,
ma'am.
And we know this. We know this for sure. We got
Yeah, look, I'll show you right now. The Washington Post had an exclusive scoop on it.
the Washington Post.
Yeah, I don't. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me see because I not my podium's not there. There it is. Here we go. So that's him right there. GOP operative found guilty on.
I saw that. I saw that headline.
That's former Rand Paul campaign staffer found guilty for funneling money. Yeah. So once again, can we say it together? And the church says Hillary was right. Hillary was right about everything.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah. And he's running. Did you know Donald Trump is already under investigation for campaign finance fraud?
I mean, he should be. That shouldn't be
No, this was for this run.
Is it because of what he did to Herschel Walker?
No.
Oh, this is something different.
He stole $20 million from the Save America PAC, which was a RNC PAC. He stole 20 and put it in his MAGA PAC.
I remember. I saw something about that.
Yeah. He's already being investigated for campaign finance fraud.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's not shocking. We all know he's running again for two reasons. He's running thinking that it's going to save him from being indicted, and he's trying to get as much money as he possibly can. That's the only reason why he's running.
Magaga ooh la la. I love that. Maga. Anyways, also the Stop Woke Act in Florida was just deemed illegal by a judge. You know, the Stop Woke Act that was it was basically it was the Gestapo going into universities and making sure that they teach wrong history, and that you can't make Republicans angry.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, with all of the corruption and all of the illegal things that they're doing, they really aren't winning. So why haven't more people been indicted? Why hasn't the law arrested these people?
I'm a cynical person right now. I'm getting a little upset with Garland. I feel like he's running out the clock. This idea that the FBI, okay, who is run by Christopher Wray, who was in the Trump administration, who's part of the Federalist Society, the same person as Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch and Alito. So there was this post by some, I forgot who it was. I think it was on like the New York Times or something, that the classified documents he stole were about ego. Bullshit. He stole classified documentation, and there's 43 pages that are still missing that nobody's talking about. There's 43, and he was found to have another country's nuclear capabilities, okay, and compromise on the French president. Okay, so this bullshit that it was ego driven is bullshit. Because there's 43 missing, and you cannot make that.
He sold them.
Yeah, you can't make that assertion. You can't make that assertion. Thank you. That it wasn't business related because there's 43 missing. Okay. So that being said, Merrick Garland was a moderator for the Federalist Society. You realize that, right? Like he spoke, he moderated, he worked with them, he spoke at conferences at the Federalist Society. He's very chummy with the Federalist Society.
I think I saw something about that. He was trend. Oh, maybe that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trending on Twitter. And I think I saw something about it over there as well.
Yeah, and so if you go to fedsoc.org, it's FedSoc, FEDSOC, and you Google Merrick Garland, or even if you Google Merrick Garland moderator FedSoc, you'll pull up like 5 or 6 news articles that shows he's moderated over 10. Now, do I think that this is going to affect how he does his job? No, he's got 100% what is it? Guilty rate, like a conviction rate.
Right.
But do I feel that he's dragging his feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. Like, and I think a lot of people, when they, especially Republicans, if you look back, when Donald Trump was going to be impeached the first time, people think Nancy Pelosi is this evil woman and she was anti-Trump. She didn't like him, but do you know that she was the one who stopped us from impeaching him the first time? Like, she delayed on that.
She did.
She didn't want to
She
do it because she knew
she
what would
didn't.
happen. She didn't want to impeach him.
I think she ended up doing it because of the progressives. Ilhan Omar,
Yep.
AOC,
Yep.
and Aisha. Is that her name? Aisha? The one who suffers from alopecia. What's her name?
I don't know her name. I'm sorry.
I forget her name, but that whole crew, they were the ones that were
Presley. Aisha Presley.
Presley. They were the
I got
one
it
who
written.
were fundamental in pushing Nancy Pelosi
Yeah.
to impeach Donald Trump.
Yeah. And
because she wasn't going to do it.
Yeah. She wasn't going to. He needed to be impeached. I just don't think she wanted that because Nancy Pelosi's a politician.
Yep.
She knew that he would be turned in the first.
She's a corporate Democrat. That's why I'm glad she's gone. But go ahead. Are you sick?
I think that no. It's long COVID.
Okay.
It's my last thing. My lungs are all glass on the bottom, so
okay.
I wake up in the morning like I smoked 8 packs of cigarettes yesterday. You know, it is what it is. But she didn't want to impeach him, but she knew she had to because she knew that it would actually radicalize his base. Radicalize his base. And the second time, like there was no choice. He had to be impeached. He had to. And can we just take a moment and realize that Mitch McConnell voted against same-sex and interracial
marriage we can.
While he has an Asian wife.
I responded to somebody who pointed that out on yesterday. I said he doesn't there's a difference. He looks at her skin color. And he omits everything else. So as long as she looks white, he views her as white. He can omit her culture. He can omit where she comes. He can omit all of that because she's white. Her skin is white. So he doesn't see her as Asian.
Yep. And it kind of blows your mind. It kind of blows your mind. You sit back sometimes and you look at some of these choices that are coming out of literally within an hour of finding out that they took over the House. Republicans did it. They didn't care about inflation.
Nope.
They didn't care about
crime. They weren't talking about crime in that little press conference they did.
First thing, Hunter Biden's laptop.
Hunter Biden. They're going to be.
Questions, we want to keep it on Hunter Biden.
I told you guys yesterday, all of my people, I told y'all yesterday, you're not going to hear anything about crime. You're not going to hear anything about healthcare. You're not going to hear anything about CRT. You're not going to hear anything about inflation, gas. You're not going to hear any of that. You are going to watch them do hearings attacking Hunter Biden, trying to find things on Hunter Biden and connecting that to Joe Biden so that they can come up with some crazy idea so that they can impeach Joe Biden. That's it. That's all they're going to do. They're not going to work on anything else for 2 years. And then come 2023, they're going to come to you and ask you for your vote.
And they're going to blame Democrats for not getting anything done when they literally stopped all of it. Like
Monique, you're right. I said that long ago. I don't give a shit about Hunter Biden's laptop. He ain't in office. He's not running for office. I don't care.
He's not even close to Ivanka or Jared or Eric Jr. or Mr. Forehead. Like he's got.
Who is Mr. Forehead?
He's got nothing to do with it. Not only that, you guys know, let's do a quick overview. he's a private citizen, and not only that, that laptop has been broke. The chain of custody has been broken so many times. It was in some dilapidated office that was sitting there for 3 months at a computer store, and then Rudy Giuliani had it, and then Infowars had it, and then Project Veritas had it, and then like so
it's been all over the place.
It's been all over the place, and like they're really gonna seriously believe that anything that's on there is factual? Like, of course you would. You think vaccines make you
But
fucking
didn't Steve Bannon come out long ago and say that the laptop story was propaganda? It was a tactic.
He admitted it.
Steve Bannon said it.
He literally said it. It's for the Republicans to get up there and say, "We're going to talk about." That's what they're saying. Well, they're saying we're going to
muscles. We want to know. We want to know who Mr. Forehead is.
Huh? Oh, that's what I call Donald Trump Jr. because he's got a big old forehead. God bless him. You can sell that for advertising on Twitter. I'll tell you.
Shot Talker said she had the laptop too. That looks like Chef Tyree. Hey, Chef.
Seriously,
everybody that had that laptop.
Everybody had that laptop. Like, it's just like
it wouldn't even be admissible in court because it's been all over the.
It would never be admissible in court as evidence because there's no secure chain custody on that thing. And so it's just, and the fact that Steve Bannon said it was propaganda, and then literally Republicans are going up on the House floor admitting that they're just going to be spreading propaganda for 2 years. How do people still vote for them? I don't get it. I just don't understand it.
Do you notice, Muscles, that conservative women and all the people watching us, have you noticed that conservative women are coming out in droves and blaming the not red wave on women who vote?
Yeah. Okay.
You're single.
That's why that's happening.
You're single, so your brain damaged. You don't know what you're voting for. You need to be married, or you shouldn't have the right to vote at all. That's what these conservative women who are up on their platforms spewing. And I just noticed a quick uptick to that, and I wondered if anybody else picked up on it.
That is a propaganda.
Brandon, you going downstairs? Can I get a cup of ice, please? I'm sorry, Muscles. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. That is Moms of Liberty.
Oh, Moms of Liberty. That explains it.
Moms of Liberty, who is you guys realize that Moms of Liberty is Tea Party Coke-backed Koch brothers, right?
Just any cup is fine. Thank you.
The Moms of Liberty is a Tea Party Coke-backed Koch brothers backed organization.
They're the ones that are at the school board meetings talking about CRT and those women.
And
the current daughters of the Confederacy. Back in the day, they were the daughters of the Confederacy. Now they're Moms of Liberty.
It's rebranded.
Yes.
Just like what they're doing is they want Christian law. Okay, they want Puritan. So they call it Sharia law and whatever. And even Sharia law has been bastardized by politicians. Okay, I know a lot of Muslims. It's a bastardization of the Islamic faith. They want puritanical law, Puritan law. And if you don't some people, if you don't know your American history, we didn't flee England because of persecution to come over. We were kicked out because of puritanical law. Like because
kicked out. You were kicked out.
Yeah, we were kicked out. And that's puritanical. And they want puritanical law. They do not want women to vote. They want to make sure that you are given a purity test, an examination before you're married. They don't want you to vote. They don't want you to drive. You can't. Like, that's literally what they want. So,
but do you know these same women? Well, I don't. These same women let's just say the 72% of white women, they celebrate Susan B. Anthony's birthday every year because she fought for the right to vote. But they vote for these people who are trying to take away.
Who will take it away. And this stems all the way back from in 1973. The Southern Baptist seminaries allowed women to teach. Okay, you got to remember, like this is when the Conservative Baptist Network took over after Brown v. Board of Education and the desegregation of schools. Okay, so that's when the Conservative Baptist Network took over, and they also took over the seminaries, the Baptist seminaries, and they voted and they passed a law to take women.
You're right, DJ Talk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's fine. They took women out of any type of authority. They could not teach. They could not be pastors. They could not be ordained. The only thing that women could do was teach Sunday school, and that is it. Sing in the choir and play in the orchestra. That was it. Women were literally, all of their power was stripped away. And they will continue to do that. You're starting to hear in some of the circles that Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, all like Ronna McDaniel, all of them, they shouldn't even be speaking. And when you start seeing that, when you start seeing these women being stripped, because when a man, I guarantee you, if they run a Republican man against Marjorie Taylor Greene, she will lose. Like we are progressing to that. It is the beginning. Just like they're starting to say all of these pseudoscience about birth control. They're going to come for IVF and birth control. That is their plan. So you can like that's why they don't cover what's going on in Iran, because that's what they want here. They want the ability to oppress people through religion. And remember, what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? I'll end with this. Hitler didn't do anything that was illegal. Let that sink in. Hitler never broke the law. Ever. He never broke the law. Everything he did was legal. So if you see what's happening with this Republican Party and where they are going and the propaganda they're putting out through Moms of Liberty, you guys, we have to fight them back at the school boards. Like, if that is one thing that you need to know, is we need to fight back at the school boards. Okay, when you go in there and you have those people, I personally believe it should be illegal. And if you start quoting the Bible at a school board meeting, you need to be frog stepped right out of there, frog marched right out, because that does not belong in a public school system, public school at all. Done. Like, no, there is no question to that. You don't. These Christian extremists do not have a voice in an area where that is neutral. Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It's.
So
it's part of their plan. It's part of their. Just so you guys know, it's a part of the plan. It's part of that 7 mountains.
Thank you.
And it's easier to use women because these women are stay-at-home moms. So a lot of people of color, they don't have the ability to miss work to attend a school board meeting, which is why they purposely have those meetings during the day where people are working. Because
so I'm looking into how old you have to be on a school board. Mm-hmm. If you can be, like, you need to figure out your school board regulations, even as kids, because I know that there are some states that you don't have to be a certain age to serve on your school board. Gen Z, you can get on that school board.
Yeah, we overlook the school board for some reason. A lot of people don't view the school board as important as your local commissioners or your county commissioners, your state representatives. For whatever reason, we overlook the school boards, but it needs to be amplified how important it is to have representation on your school boards and representation in these meetings, because that's where a lot of these decisions are being made.
Mm-hmm. So if you look at it, if you're some school boards, you have to be 18. If you're 18, get on your school board. Like seriously, run for your school board. Go around and do it. Like literally run for Gen Z school boards. You got to make your decision. You guys can do it.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna look into see what the regulations are to serve on the school board for each one of your states, and I'm gonna make a post about it. I'm gonna
Okay.
make a link tree
Y'all
because
make sure you're following Muscles. If you're not following Muscles, make
because
sure you follow him.
that's where you want that's where you want to hit him there, because what they're doing is they're trying to take over the village that raised the kids, because you know the term, it takes a village
Yeah.
to raise a child. The
Mm-hmm.
school board, look at the school boards as the village. Okay, like that's
Mm-hmm.
like those are people making decisions for you as a minor, as a student, but also parents for your kids. Like that's the village. And if you're not involved in that somehow, I mean, if you're working, great. But if your kid's 18 and they're not working, or they're just going, or they're, getting ready for college, or they're doing a couple years break, get them on the school board. Seriously, make sure that your voice are heard. You can do that.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
all right. I
Yep.
love you
Yep.
guys.
I love you.
Bye,
I'll
Miss
see you
Tabitha.
later.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, make sure that you guys are following Muscles. He's on it all day, every day. I come in, but I don't come in as much as Muscles. He's on it. Everything that's going on, he is on it. He's on it. So make sure y'all are following him. I'm looking for where we left off so we can finish off this thread, this Elon Musk thread. Where was I? Okay, so we are on coursework. We know Elon did try physics, but was academically behind. That's clear from homework he posted. He's a third year in second year mechanics. It's a red flag for someone who skips a lot of classes. Some prodigies can ace tests without classes, but they aren't behind. And so they post this snapshot of what Elon posted, and it looks like some type of equations and stuff like that. This is another language to me. So I can't tell you what it says, but his tweet says, yeah, he sent it to me through a mutual physics professor friend at Caltech. Very basic stuff. He says this is very basic stuff. But yeah, Capital Hunters is basically pointing out that I guess even Elon didn't understand what this was. So then it goes on to talk about Penn statements. Penn's Wharton School regularly claims Elon, the world's richest man, as an alum, but the physics department seems never to have done so. In their congrats to 1997 graduates, there's no Elon. And they have the congratulations here where it lists the graduates for physics, and there is no Elon there. There's no Elon there. Penn Arts and Sciences, which includes physics, has called Elon a physics alum. In one context, a bio for Elon Musk public lecture made possible through a generous endowment gifted to the Center for Particle Cosmology in 2009, gifted the year of Elon's deposition. So, to make it look like he's an alum, he made this huge donation and they wrote up this nice little article about them. So it's like someone said, diplomas for donations. False statements to his biographer. In 2015, Ashley Vance put out a gushing bio of Elon. At some point, he noticed that Elon's degrees came 2 years late and asked about it, but then just accepted Elon's strange answers and shoved them in the appendix. They don't hold up. So whatever Elon had to say was put in the appendix of this biographer on Elon Musk, and they have the appendix here, which they say makes no sense. Elon explained his delayed diplomas by saying he had a minor problem at Penn. He hadn't fulfilled his language and history requirements, and when those were later dropped, he got the degrees. But Penn has not dropped its language and history requirements, and it posts the proof right there. Ciao. So all of these things that he's saying is being refuted by facts. All of these receipts that this man has found and posted. Elon also said he got so tied up in coding, he forgot he hadn't graduated. Just know, no foreign student forgets about their visa status. Note how Elon glides over being undocumented. Even without the diploma, the inconsistency should have tipped reporters off. And here, I guess Elon was talking and they highlighted what he had to say in regards to that. Stanford, lots more contradictions about Elon's supposed acceptance to Stanford. So here's the summary as a reminder. They post the summary. This is what they say. They highlighted that he moved to California for a PhD program at Stanford, but also that he moved to find investors. Remember, we talked about that earlier, that he started a PhD at Stanford. They say it's false. Then that he deferred, also false. 2 days into the program, impossible, but before paying tuition, he wouldn't have paid. That the department was materials, science, and engineering, or applied physics or physics, all different, or applied physics and materials science, doesn't exist. They busting this man all the way out. That he was going to work with Bill Nix. Also that he would work in physics on capacitors and batteries. Those are different fields. Nix worked on neither in 1995. Nix is in MSc. I don't know what MSc stands for. That Stanford's Dean of Graduate Studies wrote him. She had reviewed his records and that he'd been admitted. But she filed a legal statement that no records were found. Stanford would let him finish his undergrad after PhD or during it, both unheard of. Baby. Goes on to say in 1995, Elon claimed to be a Stanford PhD student in materials, science, and engineering. So that's what MSc stands for. Materials, science, and engineering. But his story has morphed over time. Stories put him in any of 3 different departments at Stanford. MSc or applied physics or physics. And sometimes even combine them. And they post more receipts in regards to that. Ciao. For example, here Elon says applied physics and material science again. Again, no one forgets what they applied for. If a football player is drafted by the LA Rams, he doesn't later say he was going to join the LA Lakers or the LA Dodgers or the Ram Dodgers. Somehow, faced with Elon's wealth, no one flags the contradictions. In 2015, Stanford's former president, John Hennessy, introduced Elon with, quote, he arrived at Stanford to pursue his PhD in physics, but left after 2 days. Elon didn't correct him. Elon's deposition makes it clear he was not accepted to any department. He dodges saying which I spoke to the chairman of science, then talks about when he would pay tuition, but no science PhD student at Stanford pays tuition. Elon never saw an offer letter. Damn. Everyone should have questions from the start. How could Elon start a PhD if he hadn't graduated? He had two fantastical explanations. In 2009, he said Stanford had agreed he could do the PhD anyway, then go back and finish undergrad after. Unheard of. In 2015, he told Vance a different story, that Penn and Stanford had made a special arrangement for him and he would finish his undergrad while doing his PhD. Also unheard of. And Elon was a nobody at that point. No investors to smooth at this point. Listen, you have to finish one degree before you can move on to the next degree. There are prerequisites in everything when you're in higher education. You can't take math 2 before you take math 1. You get what I'm saying? And so he's saying that these people allowed him to go for this without completing this, when this is what prepares you to be able to complete this. What happens in real life is if a student doesn't finish his undergrad, his graduate admission is rescinded. In June, he's done. He doesn't set foot on campus. And if he's on an F1, this is the visa, he cannot work in the U.S. and has to leave the country. Elon knows this. The lawsuit forced Stanford to make a formal comment on Elon's PhD stories. In December 2008, Stanford's Dean of Graduate Admissions, Judith Hackl, answered a subpoena with a terse response. We are unable to locate a record in our office for Elon Musk. Here's her letter. Again, head on over to Tabitha Speaks. You will find this thread. I retweeted it. Y'all can go through it and read all of this. Hey, D-Mac. The story now gets disturbing. When Vance answered questions, Elon gave him a letter purportedly sent by Hackl in June 2009 attesting personally, quote, you applied and you were admitted to the graduate program in materials science engineering. It reads like a hostage video. As for his, I'm reading the receipt. I find this one interesting. As for his academic records, Musk produced a document for me dated June 22, 2009 that came from Judith Hackl, the director of graduate admissions in the office of the registrar at Stanford University. It read, as per special request from my colleagues in the School of Engineering, I have searched Stanford's admission database and acknowledge that you applied and were admitted to the graduate program in material science and engineering in 1995. Since you did not enroll, Stanford is not able to issue you an official certification document. I'm surprised this is still up over on Twitter, being that Elon owns Twitter. So strained, it's not believable. It made me feel ill. Did someone pressure her to write that to appease Elon? But maybe it's a fake. A 30-year employee wouldn't misspell department. Bizarrely, Vance didn't call Hackl to confirm she died in 2019. Most likely, Elon never applied to grad school. The 2007 lawsuit quotes an article saying he moved to California on the advice of Queen's University. That's the first university back in Canada. Business professor to meet investors. Elon was in business, not science. Last item to cover. This year, Elon posted a gushing letter from Bill Nix, former chair of Stanford MSE. This is who would have been professor. This means less than it might seem. Nix doesn't remember him from 1995. He's reaching out to a potential donor after Elon mentioned him. This is the letter. In an interview shortly before, no surprise, if you're the richest man in the world, people say nice things about you. Elon says his PhD topic was advanced capacitors and batteries to improve the energy density for electric vehicles. Nix worked on neither in 1995. Quitting Twitter's board. Given how many secrets Elon has, it was a surprise when he agreed to join Twitter's board. The letter he signed on April 4, 2022 agreed to a background check. Anything about degrees and visas was going to come out. They post the letter. The board idea created fast. You can see it unravel. April 5th through 7th, Elon and CEO are cheerfully planning. April 8th, 10th, and 11th, Elon suddenly sends Parrish a screenshot from 1 minute before, and I'm sick of this. That's it. By 3:20, he is texting Kimball about creating a new Twitter. The next morning, April 9th, he tells Twitter, expect a private offer, a hostile takeover. The screenshot seems like Elon's rosebud moment. Of course, he's impulsive, could be random, but later events do suggest hidden secrets since August. There's all of these receipts of what went down as Twitter fought to make Elon pay up. Because remember, when he first put in the offer on Twitter, he tried to rescind it. He tried to walk away from it. He couldn't. He subpoenaed Stanford to ask if they talked to Twitter. What was he looking for? We may never know. In September, Twitter made his text public. Elon caved within a week and agreed to buy, ending the lawsuit. National security. A Twitter owner can do a lot of damage by spreading disinformation. If Twitter survives, or by letting it die to stifle speech, by getting the personal info of journalists and activists, by pulling down info stored on Twitter or even archived tweets. Trump should have taught us that an impulsive, insecure oligarch with dark secrets and poor judgment who barely scrapped through Wharton and talks too much with Russians is a security risk. People with secrets can be used. And Muscles told us some of the stuff that was going on with Elon Musk and Putin and Russia and Starlink. The people whispering to Elon now are Peter Thiel and David Sachs. Remember, though, they're the PayPal mafia. And they are not friends of free speech. Thiel has deliberately destroyed one media outlet already. He calls journalists terrorists. He may not care if Elon loses his fortune. Thiel and Sachs are openly authoritarian, dislike democracy, and push disinformation. These two are the ones that are in Elon Musk's ear. Read link thread to understand. There's another thread linked into this. I haven't gone into that thread as of yet, but I'll get to it. Thiel courts extremists on the right. Sachs befriends the left. Sachs spreads Putin's propaganda overtly. Thiel more discreetly. Things to do. Call your representative or senator. Much of Elon's revenue is your tax dollars. Paying for SpaceX launches. That can stop. Tesla is already under investigation for safety concerns. Twitter may be our astronauts need safety. And that's the end of this particular thread. Yes, salty sarcasm. That I saw Muscles video, which prompted me to go over to try to find this thread. and I found it, and I wanted to come in and talk about it because I suspect the thread won't be there for long. But at the beginning of the thread, everybody, this person provides links to where you can find all of this information off of Twitter. They have a Google Docs place where you can go to get all of this information and read through it for yourself. Elon Musk is another grifting white man who has made his billions by stealing information, pretending to be someone he is not, and lying. He's a fraud. Somebody says I opened the Google Docs. We'll be reading it later. All of the information is there. If you have that, I saved it over here. If you have that, then you can read it at your leisure. You'll have access to it. I'm just thinking eventually Elon Musk is going to shut that down. So head on over to Tabitha Speaks on Twitter. Look for the retweeted post and first click that link so you have access to the docs. He has lied. Bitmean. I'll just say that, Bitmean. He has lied. He has lied. He is a fraud. He is a fraud. And he's been able to garner himself millions of dollars. He is a fraud. Billions, I should say. Billions. He is a fraud. And this is just one of yet another example. A black man would not be able to get as far as Elon Musk has gotten. And Elon Musk has been able to do it with fake credentials. He is according to these receipts, he is no genius. He's a lying grifter. A con man. Thank you, Lindy Wee. BIPOC entrepreneurs, they can't get any investors because they aren't trusted. All of the racist reasons you can think of. But yeah, you got a lying ass grifter like Elon Musk. And the reason why he didn't have the money is because I think I had to explain this to someone in the chat. But he's a billionaire, they said. Oh, it was on that video that I did for when it came out that P. Diddy had given him $10 million so he can purchase Twitter. And somebody in the comments was like, he's a billionaire. He wouldn't need to get money from P. Diddy. He's cash poor. He's cash poor. He does not have that kind of money readily accessible in cash. Most of his stuff, his money, his fortune is in assets. Tesla is an asset. Stock shares, that type of stuff. He can't go down to the bank and say, I want to cut this deal, pull $44 billion out of my account, cut the check so I can get Twitter. He couldn't do that. He had to reach out to other people. The Saudis is one of them. Smaller, they're not so small. To us, they're large. People like P. Diddy, he had to reach out to them. So all of this, what I'm finding out through this thread, I'm like, maybe it is the best thing that Twitter goes under. Maybe it would be for the best when you're thinking about national security. Because this man has ties to Russia. And now he's got access to a lot of information that we have put out there on Twitter. Journalists, bankers, politicians. He's got a shit ton of information about these people by way of Twitter. And he's working with Russia and the Saudis. Think about it. He's working with Russia and the Saudis. Friendly. He's got people in his ear that are anti-democracy. He is a national security risk. A national security risk. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. The world needs a not-for-profit forum for communication. Well, they don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want that. I mean, look how successful using platforms like TikTok and Twitter mainly is a hub for communications worldwide, right? If it wasn't for these social media sites, the red wave would have happened. But because there was us out there, people like me out there, going through information, disseminating information, is that the right word? Getting information and deciphering it and sharing it with you so you can make an informed decision so that you would know the truth of what was really going on, the red wave would have happened. The red wave would have happened. And we were able to stop the red wave. We were able to drown it out. We diluted that red wave. It wasn't even pink when the blue wave came through. Right? And they don't want that in the future. They don't want that. The difference with companies, the difference between Twitter and TikTok is that Twitter is American based. TikTok is not. TikTok is Chinese based. So they don't have control over TikTok like that, which is why they want to get rid of it. And if Twitter, let me just prepare y'all. If Twitter does shut down, I mean, I follow a couple of the network engineering people and they speak Greek to me, but the one thing that they all seem to be saying that I understand is that Twitter is breaking. They are basically expecting at some point soon that Twitter is going to be gone. You heard what Musk says. You heard what Musk said. They, all the engineers have quit. He had them on lockdown. So who's running it? Who's really running it? You always have to have engineers around the clock. You have to have them on staff around the clock when working with a conglomerate like Twitter to fix things, to be on top of things so that it runs smoothly, so that the user doesn't notice things like that, right? I have Tribal, but it's not as big as Twitter. Now, if Twitter falls, yeah, people are going to go on over to Tribal and they're going to come right on over here to Twitter. The trolling will be amplified here on Twitter, on TikTok, just so you know. DJ Talk, I did a video. I actually showed an example of me clicking. I did it on Auntie Wiggs' video. I clicked the heart. I clicked the light. 2 seconds later, the light disappeared in real time. I showed it. Yes, I have Tribal. I haven't been on Tribal when Elon first arrived over at Twitter with his sync or whatever. I set up a Tribal account. I was on there for I was using it. It's a nice app, but I kind of got when I got my first DM calling me the N-word and F you and I'll chop your head off and that type of stuff. So I had to shut down people having access to me outside of, behind the scenes, the DMs. The same thing I did over here on TikTok, I did over there on Tribal, and I haven't really been on there since. But my account is still there. If need be, I'll be over there. If you find my account, follow me. So, all right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I had a good time going through. Check it out because there's other threads linked to that thread that goes into other conversations exposing Elon Musk. I haven't gotten into those yet. This thread I found particularly interesting, probably because of the Wharton School and how Donald Trump's also tied to the Wharton School and how he worked diligently to stop people from getting access to his school records and all of that jazz. They're all one and the same. I love y'all. Y'all have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see y'all in the next one.